Hey everybody, ArtDude47 here, and I'm back with a new video series I've been wanting to make for a while. Basically kind of getting back to the roots of the channel again. This is going to be more game programming content. Um, Basically there's a project that I've been wanting to work on for a long time, years and years, and it's reliving one of my favorite childhood games, which is Harvest Moon. And kind of what put a hold on this project is, one, when I wanted to create it, I wasn't talented enough to do it. And then two, of course, Stardew Valley came out, and I felt like it had already been done. Stardew Valley is an excellent game. It really did everything that I could do and more. But lately there's been that itch back again. And I'm not here to say I'm going to make the next Stardew Valley or anything like that. But what I am going to do is try to make the game that I've been wanting to play. Stardew Valley takes a lot of inspiration from Harvest Moon on the Super Nintendo. There is one Harvest Moon game that I think I might be even more nostalgic for that I would like to play in a remade, better version. And that is Harvest Moon: A Wonderful Life for the GameCube. I've always loved this game. I played it a bunch as a kid. I think there's just so much charm, and there's something to be said about a three-dimensional Harvest Moon. And so with that is the game that I'm trying to make. What I would have liked Harvest Moon: A Wonderful Life to be like as a kid. And so there's a few things I'm shooting for here to make it more in-depth. One, there will be way more automation processes to earn. In a similar vein to Stardew Valley, where you'll be able to get sprinkler systems and automatic crop harvesters and things like that after work to pay for those things. There will be an increased amount of animals you can care for with a larger number of interactions. And a larger interaction with NPCs. I think Stardew Valley to an extent has that, but I also think that NPCs could be even more fun and more dynamic. So I've been working on a dialogue system that will allow for NPCs to change what they say based on the time of day, based on the season of the year, the number of years that have passed, how much they like you, and also to make sure that they don't always end up defaulting to just saying the same piece of dialogue over and over again once you've talked to them multiple times. And so that is something I think is important that, when done correctly, just can make the NPCs feel a lot more fun and alive. And I think there's a lot more story to be told with NPCs in general. I remember when you go into year 2 of A Wonderful Life and you find out that Nina had died and Galen has moved to a different house with her grave. I remember what an impact that had on me as a kid, and just the realism, just the fact that I remember almost feeling guilty that, well, the first year I didn't focus on becoming her friend, and so now my chance was gone. And I think the fact that that had a deep impact, and I'm talking about it here with you today, means it was something done well in a video game that I would like to try to recreate. And so that's just a few of the things that I'd like to focus on this project. Now that I've kind of introduced you to the project, we're going to hop over to the computer and I will show you what I've got done currently. We'll talk a little bit about what I've completed so far. Alright, so here we are in Unity. First thing I'd like to mention is that I'm not focused so much on graphics yet. I find that with a lot of projects I jump right into graphics, and I'm not the best 3D artist, so a lot of times I get demoralized, because when you show people a project, let's face it, they're looking at the graphics to determine whether or not it's impressive. Friends and family don't understand the code that goes behind it. They don't understand when you solve that problem you've been working on, and so I fall into that trap a lot. So this time I'm using a lot of free Unity assets to go ahead and help jump some of those hurdles for now. So let's go ahead and hit play. And as you can see right from the start, I just used Unity's included third-person controller. So I've got the third-person character. This is working with a controller right now. I'm using a PlayStation for remote. And as you probably can see as well, I've got a day-night cycle already set up. It's fairly simple, but it goes through the day, the sun rotates through the sky, changes some colors while that happens, and it counts the number of days and years that have gone by. I can, through code, set how long a day takes in minutes, so I can quickly and easily adjust that, and it just cycles through each day. So then the next thing I've got to show you is a little test inventory I've set up. Again, remember I have not been focusing on graphics. As you can see, there's a little tooltip on the selected item. This is the second test item. It's very lame compared to test item number 1. Got test item number 1. It's very cool. Test watering can, test hoe, test seed 2, potato, and a tomato. And so if I go to test item 2, you can see if I click equip it, it goes on the body slot of the player. So this would be like a shirt or something like that. Test 1 goes on the head. That would be, you know, a hat. And then you can equip test watering can, test hoe, test seed. Those all go in the hand slot, and so they would replace each other. When equipped, you can also unequip directly from this screen. Alright, and so there's a few things I still have to work out, like the time still cycles while in this screen. Of course, it'll pause time eventually. Also, as you can see, this tooltip goes off the screen, so it will eventually target based on where you are on the screen to do the tooltip. Alright, so then here I've got an NPC. I've got everything set up like I've never talked to him before. As you see, press A to talk shows up. You know, that'll look better eventually too, but just to let you know that there is an interaction available. If we talk to him, you must be the new farmer. Nice to meet you. My name is Test NPC1. You can see it's got his name there as well. Hit X again, and I get out of that dialogue. Now if I talk to him, he won't say that dialogue again, because that's only as he's never met you before. So now I've got something really cool to tell you, man. You will really like to hear this. Test. That was just to test out multi-line dialogues, which you can see are working here. And then it's so late. This is one that will only trigger late at night. I just love the spring. Will only trigger in the spring. I don't like you very much is because of low affection. And so there's already a few different options for conversation already set up, and of course I haven't written a lot. So this was a test, but I've got a better test now set up for it. So let's go to the second NPC just to show that this one says, hey, do you like pizza? And I've got an option for response, yes or no. No, that's weird. If you saw the little error, what happened is I had never met him before, but I forgot to set up a conversation for the first meeting, so that's what happened. Hey, do you like pizza? Yes, of course, I do too. So you can choose either response, and he'll react to that response that way. And the final thing I've got done for this devlog is we will go ahead and equip the hoe in our inventory. This is a test piece of soil. If I use the hoe, you can see it just got tilled. And if I grab a test seed and use that, it's planted. Test watering can and use that, it's now watered. And we just have to wait a bit and for the new day here, just so we can make sure everything is working as intended. And so you see it grew, it's no longer watered, so we'll water it again. And we'll wait for the new day. While we're doing that, just notice I've got, looks like I've got 1 tomato and 2 potatoes currently in the inventory, because we will go ahead and harvest this afterwards. And while I'm waiting for that to harvest, of course that's when you interact with nothing in your hand, you see it grew again. There's 2 types of crops in this game. One is a multi-harvest crop where you can harvest it multiple times, and one is a one-time harvest where it will be destroyed. Let's see what this one is. If I harvest it, you see it got less grown, and I got a tomato. The number here seems to be a little messed up, but that's alright. It gives you a tomato, it adds it to your inventory, and then if you were to water it again, it'll actually grow again. Now you see the new day passed without me watering it the first time. That will cause it to take damage, If it takes too much damage without watering, the crop will die. We can test that out here as well in this other piece of soil. We'll use test seed number 2. Let's see, this soil does not seem to be working, so we won't do that. We'll test it out with this one. We'll let it go another day without watering, and I'll have to investigate and see what's going on with that other piece of soil. Alright, there you go. You see it has now turned to the dead graphic. It can't be harvested, it can't grow from here because it has died, and it's just turning brown for now. Of course, that's just a filler graphic as well. So now just a few other things that I can show you. If you'll note, I'm still equipping the test hoe here. If I stop playing and play again, the inventory as well as the item I've got equipped is remembered. If I come talk to him, he also remembers I've met him. He says it's so early because it's early in the morning. And so it remembers things like that, the game does. This NPC now doesn't get the error since he's already met me, and I'll fix him having no dialogue options as well. So for now, that's about it. That's what I have to show you. Well, there is actually one more thing I just remembered. The other thing I've been creating is just a door functionality. So press A to open door. If you interact, it will actually load a new scene, and it puts me in the correct spawn position for that new scene. So that way when you go inside a door, you can spawn in a new scene right in front of the door. So it'll be like you actually just went straight through the door, and then when you exit that door, it'll spawn you back into the first scene directly outside the door, so that way you're not in a random position where you shouldn't be. Alright, so now that is all I have to show you for now. I'll go ahead and get back to work, and I'll keep updating as I make new updates to the game. Alright, so I've got a quick little update for you here. I did fix the issue I was having with the test soil here. So now you'll see if I go, I can till that soil, I can till this soil, I can put test seed number 1 here, and if I grab test seed number 2, I can put that here. And then if we go through and water them both, you can see that they will create different crops. In fact, we'll just pause real quick, and I will pull up the player inventory, and we will remove the test fruit, both of them, so that way now if I pull up the inventory, I don't have any tomato or potato in the inventory. And we'll just let it grow, because they're both using the same graphic now, but they have a different plant set up in script. So they'll just grow one more time. We'll go ahead and remove the watering cans so we can harvest them. And we'll just let it go through here. It's almost the new day. And so now you see if I harvest this one first, it gave me a tomato here, and it went back to the previous growth. If I harvest this one, however, you'll see the soil turn black. Eventually that'll be a whole graphic, because it gave me a potato, which is a root vegetable, so it completely destroyed the plant, and we got the potato. And so those are the two different types of crops. I can easily make new ones using scriptable objects, and they can either be regrowable or not. And the regrowth, the scriptable object also allows me to set back what age it'll go to when it's harvested. So that's the other thing. I've got the ability set up, I just don't have any graphics set up yet for it to take multiple days for each one to grow, and I can set how many days each plant will take to grow, which day they get to which growth stage, and things like that. So they're pretty dynamic, and you can change them based on the crops. You can make some take a long time to harvest, some take a short while. Alright, and so then that was what I had to show you there. There's just one other thing I'll show you, which is part of the day-night system, we will just go ahead and check this out. So target day length I've currently got at 30 seconds, like I was saying. If I just set that to like 8 minutes, get it a little closer to maybe like what a Harvest Moon day would be like, I can just give you a little more of the feel, because obviously everything won't be happening super fast. So you see the seconds going up here now. It's definitely much more similar to what you'd be used to on a Harvest Moon clock. And so that'll also make the sun changes and lighting changes not as drastic, because I know when it's going by in 30 seconds, you know, it may look kind of weird. But like I said, that can be easily changed, and that's really only for testing purposes. So that's what I have to show you for now. You know, I'll let you know when there's any other updates. Alright guys, so I think that's actually going to do it for this episode. I've got plenty of things I want to continue working on in programming, so I'll get right to that. Please don't hesitate to leave a like, comment, ask questions, anything you'd like, and I'll see you in the next video with some more updates.